Aloha and welcome to Upside Down Pilates. Today's lesson will focus on nutation. Eileen, Lonnie, Malia, and Herman will be joining us. Let's start with a follow-through warm-up. So go ahead and lie down on your mats, ladies, and we'll start with some breathing. Allow your legs to go long. And let's just take our nice deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth, belly to the back and back to the belly. Good. And again, nice deep inhale. And exhale, contract your abdominals to your spine and your spine to your abdominals. And again, deep inhale. And exhale, belly to the back, back to the belly. Scoop your waist right into your spine. And let's do that one again. Inhale. And exhale, belly to the back, back to the belly. Scoop the waist into the spine. And deep breath in. And exhale, belly to the back, back to the belly. Scoop the waist in, draw the ribs down, lift up through your hips. And one more nice big three-dimensional inhale. And nice big three-dimensional exhale. Good, excellent. Go ahead, bend your knees, bring your heels sits bone distance apart, and find your neutral pelvis. Take a big inhale, and exhale, roll your pelvis to 12, squeeze your glutes and hamstrings, and peel your spine off from the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Deep breath once you get up top, and exhale, roll down, pulling the hips away from the head, reaching energy out through the knees, and back into neutral. Deep breath. And exhale, curl the pelvis under, glutes and hamstrings help, abdominals stabilize. Deep breath. And exhale, pulling the spine away from the head, allow the neck to go soft. Two more, big breath in. And exhale, curl the pelvis under, rolling up. Big breath in. Exhale, soften through the sternum, open the middle back, rolling down. Last one, big inhale, and exhale, curl the pelvis under, rolling up. Deep inhale, and exhale, soften through the sternum, and roll down. Very good. Let's go ahead, come up to seated and do Mermaid Stretch. You can either sit with your legs out in front of you, you can sit cross-legged if you like, or you can go ahead, face forward, Malia, and allow your knees to wrap around to the side. Good. Let's go ahead, lift your left arm up side, and as you exhale, pour yourself over to the right and get a nice big lateral stretch. Breathe into the right surface of your body. And exhale, roll yourself back up and bring that left hand down. And lift up the right arm, breathe in. And exhale, fold yourself side. Pull the ribs back and together, beautiful. Breathe in through the right surface of your body and draw yourself up, bring the right arm down. And one more, inhale, lift the left arm. And exhale, fold yourself side. Inhale to the left surface of your body. And exhale, roll yourself up. And right arm lift. And exhale, stretch side. And inhale. And exhale, come on up. Nice, ladies. Let's go on to all fours for cat stretch. Palms under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Find your neutral pelvis quadruped. Connect those ribs together. Deep inhale, right and left, and exhale. Curl your pelvis under, round your spine. Pull your belly up and into your back. Deep breath, breathing right and left. And exhale, start with your tail, roll back out. Glide the shoulders down and come right back into neutral, keeping that upper middle back to the ceiling. Deep breath. Exhale, draw the abdominals in, pull the ribs in, reach and stretch. Inhale to the ceiling. And exhale, roll back into neutral. And just one more deep breath in. Exhale, curl the pelvis under, roll up. Deep breath in. And starting with your tail, exhale, roll back out into neutral. Very good. And go ahead and go back into child's pose. And rest. And let's take a moment and learn a bit about a concept called nutation. Nutation is referring to the movement of the sacroiliac joint. So you may have heard of the sacroiliac joint. It is a very large joint that has very small amount of movement that's between the sacrum and the ilium of the hip bone. And it's right here. It's actually pretty big. There's just only a little bit of movement inside of there. If we look at it from the back, you can see that it comes right in through here, okay? And what happens at that joint, when it's in a nutated state, the pelvis draws up and the sacrum draws forward and the sits bones widen, which allows the movement in there to bring the bones into perfect alignment where they fit snugly together. And that's called nutation. Nutation means to nod, so the sacrum is slightly nodding forward. The other direction is called counter nutation, and that's when the bones are going in the opposite direction. And as you can see, this doesn't line up quite as well. And oftentimes people who have a counter-nutated pelvis on one side, the other, or both, have a lot of pain in their SI joint. So taking the idea of neutral pelvis a bit further, we're going to call it nutated pelvis and focus on strengthening and stabilizing all the muscles around the pelvis and spine and legs to keep our sacrum up against our ilium snug and firmly, okay? The muscles that go ahead and do that are our abdominal muscles, which we're all very familiar with, okay? This blue is the rectus abdominis, and you can see it goes all the way up to your ribs, okay? This green is the internal obliques, and it runs from this side of your hip bone, your ilium, up on a diagonal. And then the external obliques run from the ribs and go all the way down in a diagonal. And they actually work, the internal, external obliques work in tandem to create a twist. So the internal obliques on this side and the external obliques on this side come together and twist the torso, the upper body this way and the lower body this way. Okay? And as we've talked about before, of course, the transversus abdominis is underneath all of that, and that helps to stabilize the lower back and expel breath. Okay? So the rectus abdominis is the most outer layer of abdominal muscles that we tend to work quite a bit when we stick our belly out and do crunches and things. And what we're trying to do is learn how to use the other three sets of abdominal muscles underneath the rectus abdominis so that we can strengthen those as well. In the back with nutation, it's very important that we use our hamstrings. Our hamstrings connect to our sits bones, okay, or our ischial tuberosities, and they draw down the back, connecting to the femur bone, and these three strands come across and connect on the opposite side of the knee, all right? So the hamstrings flex the knee, extend the hip, and they also help to stabilize the pelvis, okay? So you can see the hamstrings pull the pelvis down and back, and the abdominals pull the pelvis up in front. So that's going to bring the pelvis forward, and now to bring the sacrum in its knotted position forward, our back muscles are working. So the red is representing the multifidi, and the yellow and the green represent our longissimus and our iliocostalis, which are part of the erector spinae group. And they connect down here on the sacrum, and they help to pull the sacrum up and forward, kind of like this in a nodding action. So as we're practicing our nutation, we'll be pulling our belly up in front, our hamstrings down and back, and we'll be reaching our sacrum up and forward. So you can almost feel like these 2 points are coming together, the idea of belly to the back and back to the belly. So in order for us to translate that idea of nutation into our body, I've come up with some images to help us feel our muscles work in that way. We're first going to imagine that we have a string on our belly button, and that string goes through our body and down into the floor. And then you're going to imagine that you have a string at your sacrum. We can look at Herman here. And that string is going to go from the top of the sacrum and go forward. Okay? And then you can imagine that you have 2 strings on the back of your legs right at your sits bones, and those strings are going to go through your legs and forward. So you're going to have the back string at your lower back at your sacrum, the 2 back strings at your hamstrings drawing forward, and you can connect them together in the front. And then you're going to have a string at your belly button, and it goes through your body and it pulls backwards. So you have a pull forward at the same time as a pull backward to help bring your sacrum and your ilium together in a nice snug position. So let's go ahead and take the image of that and just engage our strings a little bit without any movement, but contracting the muscles that we might use to nutate our pelvis. Okay, so take a nice deep inhale, imagining all of those strings. And now as you exhale, tighten your strings. 2 strings at your hamstrings, 1 string at your back forward, and the string at your belly backwards. Good. And let's go again. Deep inhale. And exhale. Tighten your strings. Good. And one more time. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, tighten your strings. Good. Let's continue with this and now begin to strengthen our nutation. This movement is much more exciting than it looks. And if you can't quite get your pelvis off from the ground as you do this, don't worry about it. You just want to tighten your strings as much as you can. Eventually you'll be able to get your pelvis off from the ground, but in the beginning, just bringing the signals from your brain down into the muscles that you need to strengthen will help to get those muscles to begin to fire up. Okay, so let's flex your feet. Make sure your heels are touching down so that your knees are not hyperextended. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, tighten your strings, and now lift your pelvis off from the ground. It doesn't have to be high. And as you're here, Malia's doing a great job. You want to keep your ribs down and your belly in at the same time. And lower down. So that's your string pulling backwards. Deep inhale. Exhale, tighten your strings and lift the pelvis. Good. If you start to feel discomfort in your lower back, make sure your knees aren't hyperextended, and you may need to lower your pelvis a little bit and lower down. And again, exhale, tighten the strings, lift the pelvis and lower down. Don't forget to smile, ladies. This is easy and fun. Take a breath and exhale, lift the hips and lower down. And exhale, lift the hips and lower down. And exhale, lift the hips and lower down. You all look so beautiful. 2 more of these guys. Exhale, lift the hips and lower down. And 1 more. Exhale, lift. Now let's have a little fun. We're going to pick up our right leg and try and cross it over our left ankle without dropping our hips while we do that. Excellent. And now put your right foot back down. Keep your hips high. And pick up your left leg, cross it over your right. Keep your ribs connected, your belly up. Make sure your sacrum is nodding forward, and bring your left foot back down. And cross the right leg over with a smile. And bring it back down. And cross your left leg over. and bring it back down. And slowly lower your hips and rest. Great job. And let's go ahead and move into our magical minutes now. Ladies, come on up and let's say your prayers. We missed our magical minutes last lesson, so we have to make up for last time. We'll be doing 30 seconds this time. We'll lift up and lower, lift up and lower, lift up and stay. Okay? So you're going to fold your hands in a prayer position, and we're going to think about lifting up, and when we lift up our pelvis, we're going to make sure we're in our nutated position. So take a nice deep inhale and exhale, lift. So you feel your string going backwards and your 3 strings pulling forward, stabilizing your pelvis. Good. And lower down. And again, exhale, lift, and make sure your pelvis is nutated. And lower down. And one more. Exhale, lift. Good. And we're going to stay for 30 seconds. Good. Let's bring your head back just a little bit and bring your upper middle back to the ceiling. Good. And again, this is one of those fun exercises that looks so simple because we're not moving. But you're getting an isometric contraction. Press this up to my hands a little more. Good. Of a lot of muscles. And you can see how your strings in the back of your hamstrings, along with your lower back, are reaching forward, and your abdominals are pulling up, so your string is reaching backwards. At the same time, your shoulder girdle muscles are working very hard to support you. And rest. Good. Let's do side arm, 30 seconds. So go onto your left arm. Yep. It's very important here that when you line yourself up, your elbow is underneath your shoulder and not too far out. Again, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your head are in one long line, and we're not going for the supermodel look. We're going for the very strong Pilates addict look. Okay? Ribs are connected, heads are long, deep inhale, and exhale, lift. And lower down. And exhale, lift. And lower down. And exhale, lift and stay. Good. Keep reaching energy out through the crown of your head. Close those ribs. Think about pressing your strings forward from your hamstrings. If you're feeling pain or tension in your knees, you can allow your knees to come a little bit more forward until the fronts of your quadriceps stretch out. Very good. You ladies have about 10 seconds left. Keep pulling up and out of your shoulder. This is an excellent exercise to help stabilize your spine. And good. Rest. Do a little mermaid stretch. Come up and stretch over to the left. Good. And just flip your legs, and we will do 30 seconds on the other side. Good. Take a big breath in and exhale, lift. And lower down. And exhale, lift. Yeah, press a little more forward. Good. And lower down. And one more. Exhale, lift and stay. Good. Belly button is in, head is long, smiling is always good. Can't you wait until we get to do 45 seconds and then a minute? And if you're really good, we'll go for longer than a minute. But not today. Good, you have about 10 seconds left. Keep reaching out through the crown of your head, out through your knees. Good, and lower down. And lift up your right arm and stretch. The sweat is beginning to drip now, I can see it. Let's go on to your bellies, and we'll do magical minutes forward. Good. Let's go ahead and bring both hands under your forehead. You're going to squeeze your legs together tight and point your toes. Think of your nutation here. So this is crucial. You want your belly pulled up and back, your hamstrings pressing forwards, and your lower back nodding up into your belly. Inhale, glide your shoulders down. And now exhale, just hover. Lift your head and your hands at the same time. And we'll just stay for 30 seconds straight away. Glide the ribs down and together. Open your shoulders. So this is a wonderful isometric contraction of your upper middle back extensors. Good. Wrap these down and around wide. Good. Keep lifting the navel more. Good. 5 more seconds. And lower down. Good. Zip your inner thighs together. Reach your toes out and back. Inhale. And let's exhale. Just lift those legs. Again, you're only lifting your legs 1/4 of an inch off the ground. You're still nutated. The belly button is up. The lower back is pulling forward. Your knees are nice and straight, so you're trying to keep your quadriceps pulling up in front to keep your knees long. Good. And you have about 5 seconds left. Excellent. And lower down. And go ahead and bring your pelvis back to your heels into child's pose. Excellent work. And thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you at our next lesson. Upside Down Pilates is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Honolulu. We offer solo, duet, and trio lessons, post-rehab conditioning, small group equipment and mat-based lessons, comprehensive teacher trainings, and anatomy and biomechanics classes. All of our teachers are comprehensively trained by Lisa Orrig and certified through the Pilates Method Alliance. Scheduling and payment is easily accessible at www.upsidedownpilates.com or call us toll-free at 1-888-751-6950.